Good afternoon. Boeing and Airbus are the two largest manufacturers of passenger aircraft, and they're considered a duopoly. Boeing is an American company and Airbus is European. And a duopoly means that there are just two companies, duo, that dominate the entire market. And it's considered a zero-sum game. A customer who places an order with Airbus is +1 for Airbus, -1 for Boeing. There is a third company in the space called Embraer, a Brazilian company. They're smaller and they're growing too. And the Chinese also hope to be a major producer themselves of commercial jets. But for now, the market is mainly Boeing and Airbus. In recent years, Airbus has had much more success than Boeing in global markets and in China most especially. There are two big reasons why. The first is geopolitical. Chinese companies are steering more business to Airbus instead of to Boeing because there's just a lot more political tension between China and the United States than exists between China and Europe. And the success that Airbus is enjoying now started far before Boeing's safety problems. Boeing has not had a lot of good publicity lately, but these trends were firmly in place before then. Aviation Week is where we will turn to here, and they show that Airbus's success in China has more to do with their manufacturing strategy, their business strategy. Airbus is focused on building final assembly lines, or FALs, in China to meet the growing demand here. Boeing also has an FAL in China, a small one, but Boeing's business strategy is primarily to assemble their aircraft outside China, then send them here for delivery. And that represents a very big difference in the minds of Chinese buyers. From 2000 to 2010, Boeing was the top supplier by far of aircraft to Chinese airlines. And as recently as 5 years ago, Boeing was still the leading supplier. But since 2019, Airbus has grown from about 10% of the market share here to over half. Sash Tusa is an industry analyst who says that deliveries from Airbus to Chinese buyers are now 160 per year, up from 60 or so before 2010. And this is the duopoly point again. Airbus's gain is Boeing's loss. And it's because Airbus just has very strong positions here as a final assembly line producer compared to Boeing. We're reminded here of Volkswagen, the German car maker, who has rebuffed the German government's overtures to de-risk, to decouple from China, to pull their manufacturing, engineering teams out of China and bring them back to Europe. Instead, they doubled down. China's car market is #2 in the world. Volkswagen figures it would be suicide not to be here. For aircraft, China is the world's second biggest market and growing at over 5% per year. And in order to be competitive here, to sell manufactured product, the buyers want to see assembly lines. China does have ambitions too, to be a large producer in their own right, to achieve self-sufficiency in passenger aircraft. And it's likely that Airbus will find themselves in a situation in 10 years from now where Volkswagen is today. Volkswagen is in a fight for their lives to build cars that can compete against Chinese branded vehicles. But Volkswagen's exports out of China is going to get them through, so they hope. And it may play out that way for Airbus too. In 2035, say, Airbus may be struggling to compete against Chinese aircraft manufacturers in the Chinese market, but are successful exporting aircraft from Chinese plants to markets overseas. Time will tell whether Boeing will be able to compete with that business model. If Airbus's planes from China cost less to build, and as Airbus is closer to China's supply chains for all the raw materials they need to build planes. We will see. Have a good night. Be good.
Blessed are the gentle, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied.